Every day, we have the ability and opportunity to create a more accepting world by actively coming together and living inclusively.
Even small acts of inclusion can have a big impact on making others feel loved and accepted.
Bias and discrimination are some of the most pressing issues facing our nation. While the vast majority of Americans consider themselves unprejudiced, many of us unintentionally make snap judgments about people based on what we see, whether it's race, age, gender, religion, sexuality, or ability.
Because most people don't see themselves as part of the problem, they don't recognize that they can be part of the solution.
Before anything else, we're all human.
You can start a conversation to create deeper connections.
Consider whose voices are and are not represented.
Ask yourself if you've ever found yourself staring at people with disabilities or looking away and making them feel invisible.
Learn how you can come together at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by the Ad Council. Hi, I'm Parker.
And I'm Mike.
And this is
the Graphic Novel Podcast.
Thank you for listening. We love that you join us each week as we talk about the graphic novels that we're reading.
Yes. Thanks again for visiting us on this episode. It's been fun. I think this is number 12.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, so.
Can I do a whoop, whoop?
You already did, so it doesn't matter.
Right, you're not going to edit it out.
No.
It's over. It's done.
Anyhow, yeah, there's a bunch of places that if you like our show, you can visit us at our Patreon, patreon.com/graphic novel podcast. You can visit us on Twitter.
Also, the best way to get the word out. I mean, like, if you really want to help us out, get the word out, share the show, share your favorite episode, maybe, on social media, and give us 5 stars. Rank us.
Apple Podcasts.
If you leave us a review, we may read it on air. In fact, you may just get a special juicy one. Oh my God, that sounded terrible. I'm so sorry.
I got a juicy one.
At the end of this episode, we got a 5-star review. It's so exciting.
It is. It's very cool. And this week, I know it's late, but just for anybody that happens to listen, going to be at Short Run in Seattle on Saturday, November
tomorrow.
9th.
Tomorrow. Let's put ourselves on a deadline.
Well, it is tomorrow.
I know, but you know.
Okay. Awesome. So
anyway,
we got 2 books this week. One of them we both read, and one of them I read alone. It was a preview that we received from the publisher, Simon & Schuster, Gallery 13.
Gallery 13. We read something else from Gallery 13, but I can't remember what it was.
It's from acclaimed comics writer Van Jensen and number 1 New York Times best-selling and National Book Award-winning illustrator Nate Powell. It's a crime noir graphic novel based on true events. It's called Two Dead, and it goes on sale November 19th. Paperback $17.99.
That's coming up.
Yes, it is
November
an awesome
19th.
book. I wasn't too sure at first. It's got some. It's like a world. I open it up and it's like World War II, and I'm like, great. I don't really want to read this. But then you find out it's just a part of the backstory. And it takes place in the 1940s, basically after the one main character gets out of the army, and what you find is he's got a law degree that he got before he went into the army, but he decides that he's going to be a cop, and you don't know why. So he becomes a cop, and multiple things are going on. There's a kind of a corrupt, rough and tumble lead detective who he becomes partners with, but at the same time, the mayor has him basically spying on that detective because they think that stuff is going on.
So he's like feeding information to the mayor?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
So what happens is you find out as you go through it, there's 2 things happening. You find out that the old guy, somebody's talking to him all the time. And it's dead. It's a ghost. You find out it's his partner when he was a rookie. His partner's talking to him because his partner died. And basically
Isn't there a TV show like that?
He's blamed himself
for a movie
all these years for what happened.
Oh, God, I feel like this. Did I start reading this?
You might have.
I think I started reading
And then you find out that the young guy also became a cop because of something that happened in the army. So they both have these ghosts basically, and they're both chasing this stuff, and it's pretty cool. And it's all tied in with like these events that took place in I think it was Alabama. And it's all this racist stuff, all these black men. Basically these black men came back from the service, and like one part of the city the police wouldn't even go into because it was the black people and they just wouldn't go there. So these black men wore their service uniforms and basically patrolled the area for free. And there's all this corruption.
Like, I mean, for free, but to help their community.
Right.
So,
but they weren't
there was
getting
a
paid.
pretty big cost.
That was their job.
I know, but that's like, I mean, it was not for free. They gave a lot to do that.
They did. And there's this whole crime syndicate going on, and it turns out it's tied into the politics and all this stuff.
Wow, that's really deep.
It is, and it's pretty cool when you get to the end, and it's the ending's not the happiest.
See, I like stories.
But then you found out that that the whole thing is based on true events. They did a lot of research in newspaper archives and stuff, and it's cool. It's a good story. I liked it a lot. Too Dead by Jensen and Nate Powell. I
read an article recently that Nate Powell did, and I was really impressed with it. It was about white supremacy.
Well, that's
and it wasn't. I mean, I say article, but it was like a comic. It was like a graphic novel, but in article form, I guess.
Oh, really?
Online, yeah. He had all the drawings and everything with it. And it could easily have been a very small graphic novel, and I don't know if he's going to publish it.
A small graphic novel would be a comic.
Okay. A comic. But with the nature of what it was, I just feel like comic isn't the right word.
No, I know. It's illustrated.
Yeah, no.
But so yeah, no, it's really good. Yeah. It was really good, and I was surprised once you get past the first chapter. I mean, if you like war stuff, then it would have been.
Yeah,
good,
see, that's why it kind of turned me off to even start it, because I'm just the violence and stuff just as a real, like when you look at the cover and there's guns on the front.
There's a lot of violence. Like, it's because of what it is, but there's a lot of violence.
Right? Yeah, I'm sure.
It's a violent book, but it's awesome. It's pretty big too. I don't even know how many pages it is.
It's pretty big.
They don't have it numbered, but it's got to be over 100 pages.
The artwork in it is amazing too.
Yeah, it's really good. All black and white, but it's really good.
Yeah.
So that's great, and definitely look for that one.
Yeah, November 19th, you said, right?
Yep.
November 19th. Very cool. Very cool.
All right. Okay, we're gonna get on to our main attraction. Yeah.
The main event that we're all so excited about.
Everyone here in the room and
everybody in the studio is so thrilled to hear about Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me. And this was a YA, right? I mean, they're high school kids.
It has to be.
They're high school.
Yeah, and that could be one of the reasons. Because I kept coming up with looking for some new stuff to buy, and I kept coming up with articles and lists of things, and we bought this. And then over the summer, they won a bunch of awards for it before we had even read it. So I'm like, we've got to read this now.
I mean, we would have read it.
We would have, but I think we read it sooner because. But background on the first one.
I mean, I'll read the synopsis, but I just want to say, like, the cover itself makes me want to read this book.
Yeah, I agree. It's good.
Maybe I'm just a sucker for romantic stuff.
Maybe.
But you also agree that the cover makes you want to read it?
Yeah, it's
okay. You don't have to agree with me.
No, it's a good cover. I mean, I bought it because I saw some reviews that said that you should. Okay, it's a good book.
I look at the cover and I'm like, oh my God, I have to read this. Do you look at the cover and go, oh my God, I have to read? I mean, you don't say it like that, but
I don't.
Yeah, I see. I'm like, oh my God, this is hot. I want to read it. It looks delicious. I just want to eat that.
They're teenagers.
Yeah,
you better not eat
you know what? That is a problem. You're right.
You better not eat that. Now,
They're cartoon characters,
read
though.
it. What do we
All
got?
So the synopsis of the book here. Laura Dean, the most popular girl in high school, was Frederica Riley's dream girl. Charming, confident, and so cute. There's just one problem. Laura Dean is maybe not the greatest girlfriend. Reeling from her last breakup, Freddie's best friend Doodle introduces her to the Seeker, a mysterious medium who leaves Freddie some cryptic parting words. Break up with her. But Laura Dean keeps coming back, and as their relationship spirals further out of her control, Freddie has to wonder if it's really Laura Dean that's the problem. Maybe it's Freddie, who's rapidly losing her friends, including Doodle, who needs her now more than ever. Fortunately for Freddie, there are new friends and the insight of advice columnists like Anna Weiss to help her through being a teenager in love. Mariko Tamaki and Rosemary Valero-O'Connell bring to life a sweet and spirited tale of young love that asks us to consider what happens when we ditch the toxic relationships we crave to embrace the healthy ones we need.
All right. So, Mariko Tamaki is a Canadian artist and writer. She's known for her graphic novel Skim, a Miko Superstar, and this one Summer, and for several prose works of fiction and nonfiction. In 2016, she began writing for both Marvel and DC. She's won numerous awards, including an INGATS, Joe Shuster Award, Doug Wright Award. She's been nominated for other ones. Award in honor of distinction by the Dane Ogilvy Prize, Literary Award for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender writers in Canada. She was nominated for another INGATS, won the 2015 Michael L. Prince Award, Caldecott Honor, American Library Association. She won German Rudolf Dirks Award in category Youth Drama in 2016. And in 2019, her and her co-creator won more awards. But first, let's go to the co-creator, Rosemary Valero-O'Connell, Minneapolis-born cartoonist and illustrator with a BFA in comic art from Minneapolis College of
Minneapolis, which is practically Canada.
It is practically Canada. She's done work for DC, Boom Studios, Cappy Games, among other things. Her work's been shown in galleries locally and internationally. And she's working on at the time, she was working on the graphic novel with Mariko. And proud member of Out of Step Arts Collective and recognized as by the Society of Illustrators New York. And she won her second grade spelling bee. By spelling the word.
Now that's impressive.
Human.
Oh my God.
So.
Wow.
The big thing was.
What does that say about the education in Minneapolis?
The Ignatz Award.
Congratulations. So that's cool.
Presented at the Small Press Expo. Winners were voted on by festival attendees and presented at a ceremony. And Rosemary Valero-O'Connell was on hand to accept 3 awards. 2 for Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me, the graphic novel that they wrote, and 1 for Outstanding Artist. So it's pretty cool stuff. Yep, she won for Outstanding Artist for that. And they won Outstanding Graphic Novel. And they won Outstanding Story also. That's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Awesome. And the story starts out with Freddie writing to this advice columnist. And that's how it starts. And that's throughout the entire book. It's kind of like the narration.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it's pretty cool.
That was my septum piercing hitting the
microphone. That's good. but it's good. It's good. I mean,
I do. I like it a lot.
And
I love the art. I love the realistic drawings. I'm always fascinated when people.
They're not realistic though.
But they are.
They're cartoony. It's kind of.
They are. Yes. But also, I mean, look.
It's a little bit.
Everybody's fucking hot.
It's a little bit manga-ish.
Except that
it's a little bit manga-ish. they're cartoons, but it's a little bit manga-ish, and it's good.
It was hard to remember that you're reading about teenagers, though.
Yeah,
I feel like.
I agree.
I mean, you know that they're young because they're doing the break up, get back together shit.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. They go to the prom together, and Laura Dean goes off and makes out with some other person in a closet, and she gets caught, and
People don't belong in closets.
Anyhow, but that's how it starts, and then Freddie's best friend buys her a gift to this like medium.
Yeah.
Who basically says,
break up with her.
You need to break up with her. You know, this is a problem. And they met they met square dancing in gym class. They ended up getting paired off together.
I grew up in the middle of nowhere. We did not do square dancing. That totally sounds like something that would have happened in my gym class. It was not.
Yeah, considering there's square dancing in the town.
But maybe Minneapolis. I mean, maybe that was.
This is in Berkeley.
I know, but I'm saying, like, if they pulled from, I guess, Berkeley is weird. Berkeley would do weird things like square dancing in high school. But maybe in Minneapolis they did. Because I don't know how much. Do you remember who's the artist and who's the story? Did they collaborate?
Rosemary's the artist.
Rosemary's the artist. She was from Minneapolis, though, I'm asking.
Yes.
Okay. So it was, it was the Canadian.
Canadian-ish.
I know, but
Canadian.
Canadian, like, I don't know. Canadians don't square dance, do
they? They probably do. Out in Alberta or Calgary.
It feels like a very, like, I don't know, Western.
Western, as in
absolutely.
Calgary, Alberta.
I know, but Calgary, where is she from again?
I don't know where.
Mariko?
She's from Canada.
Just Canada. So maybe it was one of those areas that. I don't know. I feel like that would be something. We're focusing too much on this, I feel like. But
yes, you are.
Yeah, the square dancing.
But that's how these.
I had a neighbor who used to teach square dancing, and him and his wife had their license plate even had a square dancing. You know how you can like choose different things to like donate your whatever. Yeah. So they had a square dancing thing. They used to teach square dancing classes in their garage. Like it was almost a studio above their garage. They used to teach people square dancing.
That's weird. So before we tell any more, I want to read a few things from where did it go?
Is it bad that I want to just start singing Lizzo? It's like so in my head right now.
Yeah, it's not the time to sing Lizzo. All right, so I went on Goodreads. I was looking at.
I was on Goodreads too.
I was looking at some. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. There were some reviews, and it was interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's got a 4.21 with 6,400 reviews.
That is.
I'm sorry.
I'm not
6,400 ratings and 1,400 reviews.
I'm not surprised.
1,400 reviews.
I'm not surprised that it's rated so high because I really, really enjoyed it.
But I mean, you got one extreme to the other.
Although I don't know, I kind of like things. I tend to like. I don't usually end up liking things that other people have liked. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This person gave it 4.5 stars, and they liked it. But then,
they liked it.
The illustration here was very, very beautiful, done in stunning black and white.
I completely agree.
Then the next person, 5 stars. I turned 24 this Saturday, and the book feels like the best early present ever. I cried for 5 minutes.
24.
Alice Oseman rated it. She
really?
gave it 5 stars too.
Oh my God. Alice Oseman, in case y'all don't know.
That's for the art style alone.
Oh, okay. So she's the writer of was it our first book that we read?
Mm-hmm.
The first book that we reviewed anyway.
Heartstopper. But then you get to this person who gives it 2.5 stars.
Oh God.
The pros of reading graphic novels, pretty hard, quick, and fun. The cons, I have never even once read one that made me feel like the plot or characters were full, even remotely at all.
What?
So they said that this particular graphic novel felt especially half done to me because it tries to do so much. It tries to cover toxic relationship, abuse, abortion, manipulation, self-worth, and it all felt forced and rushed to me.
Ugh.
Each of these topics would basically be introduced over and over and over in repetitive scenes, and then at the end, they were fixed. This meant our main character, Freddie, is depicted like a caricature of a bad friend.
I don't agree with that because I feel like this was setting up. I think that they can do a second book.
Yes.
I mean, I agree that there wasn't a whole lot of depth, and they covered a lot of different things. But I feel like it's the setup for a second book, and
Right.
it left me not going ugh. It left me going, oh my god, yes, I want the next one. And so I'm hoping that there comes a next one that I can read, and even another one after that, and then after that, because I would keep reading. Because
Well, that's like we said. We were talking about this, and we said Heartstopper.
Doodle, I love you so much.
Like Heartstopper, the first book is kind of like the introduction of the main characters, and you kind of get the story. The second book.
But how would we have felt if we read just the first one without having the second one there already? Like, we knew that we were getting the second one.
Well, we knew that in the second one they were going to be getting together. So because that's how the first one.
But we already knew that it was coming. So it was like we didn't have time to stop and think, well, what if we had thought this was it?
But wait, what if?
Yes, sir.
But what if that first one skipped a ton of stuff and went right to at the halfway point they get together, and in the third book, they're lovers and whatever.
What?
I mean, take all of them and put it in one book. But
you wouldn't do that. I don't feel like that's what this is.
That's not what I'm saying. This is what this person is saying, that if you condensed it all and tried to, you can't. My point is, you can't. Sometimes it takes time for stories to build. This is not a novel where you can, in paragraphs, you can detail somebody's thoughts and the scenery.
Yes,
everything.
if we dug into Freddie alone and got all of this backstory and really felt this character, I mean, like, in depth, the rest of the shit there wouldn't be something that you would want to come back to.
Right. I mean, is
that what you're saying?
There's not enough time. This is like almost a 300-page book, but it's a story. It's the story about Laura Dean and Freddie.
Yes.
And you are not, and there's other parts. Obviously, there's other things.
But there isn't everything. There always is. There's always other
because you've got
pieces.
This is the like it's a toxic relationship. You've got this person that you're madly in love with, but they're not a good friend or a good lover, and they are cheating on you. And Laura Dean invites her to come over, and she's like, oh, great. Okay, I'm going to come over. And she gets there and there's a party going on. She's like, oh, I thought it was, she's like, well, my mother's not home. My mother's not home. So I had a party. Yeah. I invited everybody over. Yeah. You going to stay tonight? She goes, why do you want me? She goes, well, a bunch of people are staying.
Yeah, like everybody's staying. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, she's like, oh, yeah, well, I guess I can. But then Laura Dean's out flirting with other people.
Of course, what Laura Dean does best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and then the relationship is Freddie loses touch with her best friend Doodle
because she's so wrapped up in making this shit work with Laura Dean.
I mean, and they're in school and all this.
And I think part of it too is like the disbelief that somebody popular is, wants to be in a relationship with me. Like she's kind of hangs out with the queer nerdy kids, and so the fact that somebody who's popular wants to hang out with me and be friends with me, and I mean, fuck me, like. Of course, you're going to put all your energy into that.
Exactly. And you forget about your friends, and your friends get upset. And, it's all this stuff. I mean, it's
a lot, but I felt like it was.
I thought it was good. I
didn't feel like anything was like glossed over.
I didn't think it was too shallow.
No, I didn't.
Yes. If there was another book, they could go into more depth into one.
Absolutely. I hope they write another book. I hope they do. I would look forward to it. Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know what would happen now, because Laura Dean, didn't they break up? I don't know. I don't remember how it ended. But
you could go into so many different things. Her relationship with Doodle.
You're right. They could continue. This whole story could just be. They could write.
It doesn't have to be all about Laura Dean.
No, that's what I'm saying. They could write. They could take this same time frame, but write other stories related to it.
Just focus on Freddie, and Freddie's group of friends.
Right. So. Yeah, I disagree with that. That the point is that review. I disagree.
Review sucked.
Yeah, I don't.
What really sucks is that as an author, like how it feels to read a review like that, and it just drags on. And I hope that they obviously have far more success than you. No offense, but
all of my books combined.
But you know what it feels like? Like you have plenty. Like you would go good review, on your own books, good review, good review, good review, bad review, and you would like. It would sit on you, and you'd be like, "Oh, this person! How could they? Blah, blah, blah. I did like, blah, 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 blah." And it's
especially
like,
when they didn't.
I know, babe. You know,
especially when they didn't know what they were fucking talking about.
And it was clear that they didn't know what they were.
And it was usually about my mafia book that they would say some kind of crap like,
"The mafia is not real.
Mafia is not real. They don't even know what they're talking about." It's like when I did the one book talking, I was in front and you were at the back door with Steve.
Yeah.
And some guy walked in, and what happened?
He go. He's not even Italian.
Yeah. They asked,
he turned and walked out.
But yeah, no. Yeah. So then another person gives it 3 out of 5 stars. The art was stunning, but the plot did nothing super special for me. Meh.
What? Oh, nothing super special for me. Okay, so
Meh.
personally, like you didn't feel yourself in that. I could see, like, I am not that person who was ever in a relationship that was break up, get back together, break up, get back together. But I knew plenty of people who were. That was something. I mean, you and I never did that dance, but like my friend growing up, she had boyfriends who she would break up constantly with and then get back together. And it was like, oh, are they on again or off again this time? Sometimes you could just not know, you know? But I personally haven't had that experience. So I guess I could, if I, maybe that person who left that review has never had that experience, hasn't had friends that have had that experience. So they didn't, feel that it
well, okay,
related to them personally. I'm looking forward to hearing your stories about the breakup, get back together thing, because I know that you have some.
Okay, well, okay, so
you can't decide which one.
I never really did that myself either.
Yes, you did.
No.
Shut the front door. No, I know you did.
No,
the first love of your life.
The first girlfriend, kind of, we're only kind of a girlfriend thing.
What?
The second one, we dated for
let's just get initials. Can I get initials, please? Because I feel like I'm lost here already.
C and then C again.
Wait,
2 different people.
Now C and C.
There's Cheryl and Cindy. Okay?
Oh, Cheryl, I forgot about
Cheryl. We kind of didn't really date thing, and then she called me back when I was like 20, and we just fucked. It was weird. It was for a summer. I
forgot about this.
Yeah, I think her boyfriend was out of town or something. Yes, it was a weird thing.
Soul.
But then Cindy, we dated for several years.
Your first love?
Yeah, it was. We dated for several years.
She was.
From like 15 to 19, 17, 15 to 18 probably. And I was out of high school and we broke up. It was me. It was because of me, because I'm an ass.
Yeah.
And it was because of me. I mean, at the time I didn't know that, but it was because of me, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And but that was it. We never dated again. We did get back together. Multiple times.
Okay, so you don't feel like you were dating, but she probably did.
No.
Why do you say no?
When I would call her at 11:30 at night and she'd come out and meet me.
Yeah.
That wasn't a date.
She thought it was.
No, she didn't.
Michael, I think that she did.
She came out and that was it. There was sex and that was it.
But I'm saying in her do you say 17-year-old? In her 17-year-old head, she was back together with you.
She was probably not 17.
Were you reading this? 18?
She was 18 or 19.
18. Okay, but were you reading this? She would start making out with Laura Dean and suddenly they were back together again. They think, people think you were an asshole. Admittedly, you were an asshole. And so you were like, I just got a blowjob or whatever. But to Cindy, that was, you guys are back together again. Mike, stop.
I don't think so, because then it would only happen like once a week.
Once a week when you're 18?
Yes. But that was it. We never talked. We didn't talk all week.
Neither did Laura and Freddie.
I guess you could be right looking at it that way. You could be right.
God, I can't believe I'm even only getting a could be right.
And then the other ones.
I think you need to call Cindy and apologize.
No. And then the ones I dated after that, again, I would date them and then break up. There was no going back and forth. I never did that.
You did tell me that you were that way a lot. Yeah. I mean, when I moved to Buffalo, there was a couple women that I dated, and then that was it. It wasn't.
Yeah.
There was no back
Yeah.
and forth. There was no.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that was.
Yeah. I don't know. So I've never been through that, but my friends,
Other than with Cindy,
my friends, did,
are you going to
did
admit?
that.
Are you going to admit?
It's possible, yes.
But you do the other thing that we talked about with the friendships.
I do, yes. I have done that where I get self-absorbed with a female, and I just leave my friends behind, and I don't talk to them for months and months.
Well, because you get so into
wrapped
this
up and
NRE, this new relationship energy,
and I think some of it is also the female who has like this control.
You can stop saying female.
Was woman who has. They were not women at the time. Some were teenagers, but they.
What?
They weren't women. They were.
You're talking about growing up. You did
girls,
it too.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, because I was just even thinking like your second wife. You were the same way. Or your first wife. Even you.
The first one
more so.
Yeah, not the second one.
But you were just dating her for many years before you got married.
First one though, I still talk to Gil all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, he used to come over.
When you were dating her?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He used to come over. We play computer football, but yeah, but that was the other guys didn't hang out with them that much.
Yeah.
My main group of friends.
Well,
but then when I left her, I went right to them. I went right to Steve.
And they were always there.
They were always there. And I think I'd been back for a bit.
Yeah.
Because actually, I was kind of on and off. It was kind of the same thing. I was kind of on and off.
Yeah.
Because I remember going out with Steve one night to a bar near me, and my sister was there.
And your sister was like, "Hey, haven't seen you for a while."
I don't know.
No.
But
that's good.
But yeah, so I mean, I did do that. So this review, this book. It says, this is a book I'm nervous about giving such a high rating because its controversial subjects can certainly be interpreted many ways, but a handful of things stand out to me about why I love reading it so much. I don't know. I like that this book has unlikable characters, and that was one thing that reminded me. Laura Dean is very unlikable.
Oh, absolutely.
You want to hate her.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a bitch. She's not a nice person.
But you also don't like Freddie sometimes.
Well,
she's a bad friend.
She's a bad friend, yeah.
Really? You didn't see that? I was like, come the fuck on, Freddie.
With Doodle.
Yes, especially with Doodle.
Doodle's her best friend.
And her other friend, God, I can't remember the fucking names, but her other friends were like, really? Your best friend's going through shit. You don't even know what's going on.
Oh, yeah. That's
Your best friend hasn't been at school for several days, and you have no idea and don't give a shit about what they're doing and what.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so she kind of looked into it, but didn't.
And then, Freddie, or not Freddie, Laura Dean comes calling, and it's like,
I gotta go.
Laura Dean.
Yes, but then she did go.
Yeah, she puts her foot down. Essentially, she's late, but gets there.
Yes, to help Doodle.
To help Doodle when she needed it. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, she did come through, and she actually left Laura Dean.
Yes.
And Laura Dean was pissed.
Yeah.
She was pissed. It's like, you're leaving me.
But there's always a villain. There's always a villain.
Yeah,
so I'm not surprised that there's I guess that's surprising that the book is named after the villain. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So what does the rest of you say?
There was other stuff. I mean, they give it a 5-star review.
Good. Because it deserves it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I thought there was one that had there you go. Here's one. That cover has me by the throat.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
I guess they mean they like being choked.
No, they don't necessarily.
Now here's somebody that gave it a 2.
Have we ever done this before? I don't remember ever.
No, I did it because I was looking for something. The older I get, the less I feel like I can be judgy of people's lifestyle choices.
Wait.
That's from page 123.
123?
Freddie is a 17-year-old lesbian who's dating a gigantic asshole named Laura Dean. Laura Dean doesn't respect Freddie or care about her. She picks her up when she wants sex and leaves her when she's bored with her.
Oh, okay, I see. That's the exact quote from the book.
Yeah, so that's
this is what she is writing to.
Oh, and here you go. And Freddie keeps going back to her because she's amazing in bed. I have no fucking idea. That's a good point. You don't know why, but you do know why Because if you've ever been in love, you know why.
Yeah.
Even in lust, it doesn't even have to be love.
Yeah.
You just,
I mean, we were all young once. We all remember that
you
feeling.
fall into puppy love or whatever it is.
Yes. And that's not even young. It's any of that. We say young because that's when a lot of times people are falling into that new relationship.
For the first time.
For the first time. But anytime you get into that new relationship, you feel that it's called NRE. It has a name for a reason. New relationship energy. It's that, oh my God, my world, they are my new life. This is everything. Yeah, you want to learn everything about them. Oh my God, so much.
With another person, and it was just
hard.
Yeah, it was hard
to suck yourself out and come back to reality and be like, wait a second.
Yeah, it was about a month of it.
Yeah,
but
sometimes it's a lot longer.
Yeah,
I mean, clearly,
it was.
And when you keep getting dropped and then pulled back in and then dropped and it's just like.
Yes, that wasn't us, but that in this book, that's what happened.
Right.
And it just keeps going on and on and on. But if you've never been in love, I guess reading this book would be like foreign to you. It'd be alien.
I mean, I feel like a lot of it is. I feel like it's in the media a lot too.
What?
The breaking up and getting back together, and when you fall in love and that person is your whole world. Well, and that's how it's supposed to be.
I mean, that's a rom-com trope,
right?
Where they're in, they meet, they're in love, doobie-doobie-doo, something happens, they break apart, and then they get back together.
We were on a break.
It's something we've seen that. In fact, we're watching movies, and I call it out to you.
That was a Friends reference, just so you know.
I have no fucking clue. I didn't like.
We were on a break. You don't know that? That's like the most.
I didn't like Friends.
Why? What didn't you like about Friends?
Oh, I'm sorry, but I didn't watch. Seinfeld
okay.
When it was on,
I have to say, Friends was extremely homophobic, and I mean, there was a lot of problems.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah, the 90s stuff. It's coming back around now too. Anyway,
what is
all the 90s stuff?
It is, and that's why even Steve Carell said that The Office couldn't even be made now, just because of some of the stuff that they did in there, and it's not that long ago.
Yeah,
My
God, but it really was.
It was
20 years.
and
almost 20 years.
Not for 15. The Office.
15.
When did it go off the air? 2009.
But when it started, I'm saying.
2009.
It went off in 2009. Yes,
but it's 10 years. Yeah,
it was.
Okay.
Yeah, it was on for 9 years. Yes, it was a long time. Wow. And I mean, when you think about what the first season, they had, discrimination.
Oh yeah, the first
meeting in the first season. Anti-discrimination meeting.
Yeah.
What was it called? Why can't I remember?
I know. Yes.
Whatever.
No, you're right. But
I am an Office fan. I'm an Office fan, and the name of the. So we started listening to. I can't. I started listening to a podcast by the ladies from The Office, and it makes me so happy.
Yeah, no, it's again 10 years later, and they're talking about the first episodes, and it's pretty cool. You hear background stories and stuff that they remember all this stuff because it was so important to them too.
Well, it was their lives,
it was,
right?
Yeah, they became all great friends with each other.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
so
off topic.
So these things, like I said, if you've never been in love, this book might be hard to understand because it's like, who the fuck lives like this?
Come on, who the hell? I don't think it'd be hard to understand because it's very typical in media to kind of portray this.
Yes, but hard to see,
put yourself into the text.
To say, oh come on, that girl's a bitch. Why the fuck do you keep going back to her?
When I was young, I feel like when I was young, like this was like I would understand it. Like I hadn't been through it, but I had friends who had, so it would make sense to me.
This book would definitely appeal to teenagers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably females.
But you're saying if you've never been in love, but
I mean, you could understand the story, but you won't feel it.
I think that if you are
human,
no, everybody's
HUMAN.
Yay, Rosemary. I feel like I don't know what I feel like. I can't imagine not being able to relate at all to the story.
I mean, I probably would have understood. I don't honestly. When I was a teenager, I probably wouldn't have completely understood. I'm completely different than I was then.
No, absolutely. Most people.
I mean, I think I would, other than being an ass, I think I was oblivious to everything.
I think that's part of your asshole issues.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could
You're
be.
just scared about yourself. In your big truck.
No, I didn't have a big truck all the time. But yeah.
And getting high.
But this getting high, yes.
Yeah.
The book is great.
I loved it.
Yeah. Nicole Georges. She
my favorite.
Yeah, she gave a review on the back cover. And I mean, it's a great book.
Yeah.
I mean,
I hope
when
they
I
write
first
another one.
opened it, it was like I started reading it. And I'm like, I love this book, and it's just like Heartstopper. I opened it, I started reading. I'm like, I love this fucking book.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's
hard to put down.
If I've changed or what it is that
you've definitely changed.
What I've always read alternative books. I was never. I did read superheroes too, but when I was doing comics TV with Steve, I did the alternative stuff. I always liked the things that weren't.
You know what's kind of funny is you can relate some of this stuff to how you are in general in life, in everything. When you go for something, like when you're writing a book, that is the only thing in your life, and you just surround your, like, it completely envelops you. You are into it 110%, and that's it. Everything else kind of goes away.
Right, and that's Freddie trying to be with Laura.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything, like,
nothing else is.
I don't care about my best friend who supports me and who is always there for me, because the second Laura drops me, Doodle's right there, but then,
or not even that Doodle's there, but I go to Doodle.
Well, yeah, but Doodle is her best friend, so she's going to be there for her.
Right.
That you take for granted that relationship and that person, because you think as soon as I need them, because you're not even thinking about when the fact that you're not there for them, that you're not that same person.
Right.
And I think a lot of us have that person in their life too, who live their lives that way, who want to just be friends with you when they need something from you. And when they don't need something from you, you are second, second rung or whatever.
There are a lot of people like that. They're users. I mean, you're right. Yeah. And I've tried never to be like that. And most of my friends aren't like that either.
Yeah. I don't see any of your friends being that way.
I mean,
I can't say the same thing about my friends.
Some people, Steve makes friends with people he needs things from. I mean, but he gives back too.
Yes. He
finds somebody that knows plumbing so they can help him do something.
But then he is also giving.
Yes.
It's not like he's just using them for plumbing and then ditching them. He
becomes friends with them.
Yes. And he invites them to his parties where he has tons of booze and tons of food and expects nothing in return in that aspect.
Exactly.
Just to show up and be there is enough for Steve. I don't think that he would become friends with somebody explicitly because they're a plumber and he needs work done.
No, but he finds out they are a plumber and it's like, hey, you know what? My basement's leaking. And I'll come over this weekend.
Yes.
Because he's already given them $100
Exactly. Yeah. Steve is I mean, I have trouble saying that he's a user, but he is very much
not a user, but he's a collector.
He's a collector of friends. He has a wide variety of friends with the ability to help him with things.
Yeah, they're all
his,
different kinds.
Like his group of
bikers.
Yes, but they were all
the
correctional officers
at Attica.
Yes, and I hope to God he never goes to Attica. That he would need friends.
Yeah,
but he did make good. He made good friends with them, and
well, one of them came to our wedding.
That's right. He was very mad at us that we didn't invite
him. So we said, all right.
Oh, we're not that good
because
of
we were
him.
hanging out. Steve and I were hanging out with him.
And Jimmy kind of showed up all the time.
Yeah.
And he was very nice. And he showed up and he gave us a wonderful gift. And he brought a date, I think, too, and had a good time. And he was a very nice guy.
Yes, he was. But these were all big, including the women. They were all big, strong biker
correctional officers
at Attica. It was
not my type of friend anymore, but
no, they were tough people.
Yeah.
But,
anyway,
it was cool. It was fun. It was fun. At the same time,
however, tend to make friends with users.
But Steve also made friends with a whole bunch of police officers too.
Yes. I forgot to tell you, Isabella,
Racist police officers.
in the middle of my meeting when I was with Anna, told us that told us the story about how her baby. We have a box of toys because it's a children's group, and she brings her babies to me and she says, "Oh you have to watch my babies. There was this man kicking them." And I'm like so embarrassed because Anna's there and listening to the story about how. And she says, "I'm going to go talk to him. Can you watch my babies while I go talk to him?" And I'm like, okay, at least I can have like a proud parent moment where my child is going to talk things out instead of beating up the guy that kicked her babies. And so then she comes back and she goes, "Well, he kicked the babies by accident because the police officer was really kicking the babies and he was trying to protect them." And Anna's like, "Isn't it funny how they collect things from what's going on in our lives?" And I'm like, oh my God. No, I've never kicked a police officer, but
it's funny.
Yeah, it was it was so embarrassing, but like thankfully it was just Anna there who was not going to judge me for my daughter saying that the cops were kicking her baby. Right. Oh, anyway,
that's funny. So anything else to add?
I don't know. I loved it. It was a great book. I hope that they write another one.
Yeah.
Because I would love to just dive into these characters even further and hear the story. I mean, Laura Jean could go away, even though she's hot, and I would, if she was of age, totally fuck her.
She was 18.
She was 18. Oh, and then the other character too. God damn it! What was her name? That she thought. Oh, there she is. What's her name? Do you remember? I can't remember. The barista, and she had like 3 jobs. Yeah. She was just 18. So I would fuck her too.
Oh yeah, she's cute.
I love this idea that I could fuck cartoon characters. That's totally reasonable. But she's 18, so I can at least say it without any guilt behind it.
There we go.
That's terrible. That is a terrible thing to say.
But no, it's fine. It's fine. We're talking about pretend characters.
Yeah, imaginary.
Maybe they are. Maybe they were based on real characters.
Yeah, maybe.
So you're talking about a real 17.
I don't know. Would you let our 10-year-old read this? I think it's a little much.
A little sexual.
Although they don't really go into. I mean, I guess. They talk.
There is a little bit.
They talk about abortion in there, but we've talked about abortion with them.
Yeah. I don't know. They'll probably read. So
they'll probably read it because they read everything they can find on our shelves.
Yeah, but yes, this is a great book, and I think we both agree that. But going to a short run this weekend.
All right. Yes,
I'm expecting to come home with at least a dozen new books, and we might do a special episode because short run is about. Short run stuff and zines and all kinds of stuff. So we might have to do a special episode with just a bunch of zines and stuff that we pick up. But I know there's going to be some graphic novels there too.
Yeah, I'm very excited about several of the artists that you have said will be there. Yep. And I mean, I am have horrible social anxiety, and so the idea of and I talk about it
before we go.
I talk about it too much too.
I think we should. You should smoke some weed before we go.
Yeah, maybe. That might be a good idea.
Yeah. Anyhow, until next week.
Wait, no. What? Stop.
What?
Pump the brakes.
What? You got
we got a 5-star rating to read.
Oh, okay.
Whoop, whoop.
Do the reading.
Okay, 5-star from our fabulous fan. Do you want to try and read that name? Should I just spell it out?
I don't think it's a real name.
I think it's just I think
they hit the key. Their cat walking across the keyboard.
Xeofjr, XHEOFJR. That is their name.
Probably not, but go ahead.
Oh, Mike, don't say
Unless they're one of the people from the Philippines or something.
See, now you're being mean because we have people listening from all over the world.
Probably not, but go ahead.
They gave us a 5-star review and they said, This is such an interesting and personal podcast. I started reading graphic novels because of this podcast. The personal takes on the graphic novels make it truly meaningful and interesting. Great job, y'all, and keep up the great work. So it's clear that it's not somebody from like the Philippines.
Yes.
But,
The y'all gives it
kind
away.
of gives it away a bit.
That makes it sound like some
Southern.
West Coast. Or
No, it couldn't
you
be. It
think
could be Southern y'all. That's what they say in
Southern?
this. We don't need to guess about who it might be, but they are a fabulous listener and we love them. Thank you for listening and thank you for the 5-star review. And you too could be featured on our podcast if you leave us a 5-star review.
If you go to anchor.fm/graphic novel podcast, you can actually leave an audio comment, question, review.
And then you could hear your voice on the podcast. How cool would that be?
Exactly. So anyhow, thanks a lot for listening. Thanks for the review.
Pop in. If you see us, if you come to Short Run tomorrow and you see us, like, just tap us on the shoulder and be like, hey, I love the podcast. We will be so thrilled. We'll talk about you on the next episode for sure.
And you'll poop your pants.
I mean, maybe you will, but
okay.
Probably not.
Until next time, my name is Mike.
And I'm Parker.
And this is the
Graphic Novel Podcast.
Don't poop yourself.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoy listening to our podcast, make sure that you like, share, give us a great rating. We love to hear back. You can find us on Twitter at Graphic Novel Pod, or you can check out our Instagram at Graphic Novel Podcast.
Or you can visit our website. We got a brand new website. It is graphicnovelpodcast.com. Or you can send us a comment or question or any kind of thing like that.
Yeah, we love hearing from our listeners.
Request for a book to be reviewed or anything like that to graphicnovelpodcast@gmail.com. And biggest thing, if you're listening to the podcast and you like it, visit your favorite podcast distribution host like iTunes or whatever, and give us a review. Give us Stitcher, Breaker, all them, and give us a review and stars, because that's.
Hey, if you give us 5 stars in a review, we may read it on there.
Yes, we will definitely, and that will help us expand the number of people listening to our show.
That's the best way that we can share our show is by our listeners.
That's right. So thanks for listening again this week.
Hi, I'm Parker.
And I'm Mike. And this is the Graphic Novel Podcast.
Welcome to our new podcast on the art of the graphic novel. Mike is the author of 10 books and produced Comics TV, which was a weekly TV show on comics for 7 years back in the 90s.
Back in the olden days. Together, we produced Northwest Brew Talk about the beer industry in the Northwest for 2 years. Now we're back, and this show is all about graphic novels.